Bappa do Bappa DTT. Folks, this is a great day on So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. This is a long time coming. I've wanted to talk to this next cast member of one of our favorite shows on Bravo, Southern Charm, for a couple of years now. And I'm just so thankful that it's finally happening now. There is so much insanity happening on Southern Charm this season, even though I think I call her our reliable narrator. And I want to see
Oh,
so much more of her. She's one of our favorite influencers in Charleston, the one, the only Venita Aspen. Venita, welcome to the show.
oh my God. I need you to introduce me every time I go someplace.
Listen, I'm for hire. I'm willing to do it. Let's do this. 2025.
2025. I mean, that was good. Wow. 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 How you doing?
Good. How's the start of your year?
You know, it's slow, which I'm not complaining about, but it's good. No complaints there.
Okay, good, good. Well,
Yeah.
now let's talk about some things we will complain about, which is Southern
Yes.
Charm this season. I just watched this week's episode. First off, you have laryngitis. What is going on?
Oh, oh my God. Okay. So
Which, by the way, I love that Paige is like, I love your voice. It's very
everyone,
cute.
everyone loved my voice. Everyone loved my voice. So like when it started to leave, I was like, my friends are gonna love me anymore. I don't know what happened there. I was while we were filming, I was doing a little bit of travel back and forth there in the beginning, and I think it was catching up to me, and I wasn't resting enough and ended up getting sick. And I think I was sick for 2 solid weeks.
Yeah, because we saw you in previous episodes with like JT at his place,
And
and
I still had the rasp.
I was like, you must be going through heck right now.
Yeah, no, it was so bad. It was so bad. Oh yeah, the laryngitis. But I'm glad that didn't last forever. But that was an eventful day for sure. Over at
Um,
Craig.
yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
this week's episode is
Yeah.
Craig doesn't go outside of his bubble, and obviously Taylor canceled her birthday party, so everybody goes to Craig's place.
Great. Yeah.
And I mean, how do you view your role on Southern Charm? Like how would you describe your role on Southern Charm?
I feel like I'm kind of like the middleman where it's
Yeah.
like I'm friends with everyone. Where I really don't feel like, well, not everyone, but you know what I mean. I
You're not
um,
messy. You're not
I
messy.
yeah, I'm not messy and I take a lot of pride in not being messy. A lot of the audience gives me a lot of shit for it, but it's like if everyone in your life was messy, you would not enjoy your life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Enjoy your friendships. You wouldn't feel like you had someone to talk to. And I just feel like I'm kind of like that middle person that's not messy, but like can like shoot the shit just enough. But I keep it pretty clean.
Well, that's why we need characters like you, though,
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
we everybody can't be insane. And also
Everybody
the
can't be insane. Everyone can be messy. Everyone can be mad at each other. Everyone can't be screaming. Like you always need a person that's sound to kind of
yes.
bring everyone back together. And I feel like that is my role. I'm sound. Leva can basically tell you what and what not to do in so many words, and you're just like, oh, okay, I got it. So
I was reading, you have this on your Instagram, and one of my favorite authors, Taylor Crumpton, was writing about you
oh yeah.
and saying, there's obviously this old South that the Southern Charm will bring up, and you represent like a part of the new South, which I think is so important. What does Charleston mean to you, even before the show?
Charleston's home. I think technically I'm the only one on the show born and raised in Charleston. I believe Molly I think Molly was born in like Monk's Corner, so like same. We'll call it Charleston. But prior to her, I was the only one on the show born and raised in Charleston, so Charleston means home to me. It's
Yeah.
the only home I've known for the majority of my life, except for when I had a small stint in New York, and yeah, Charleston's home.
I mean, they were talking in Craig's backyard this week how Charleston does seem like such a small world, and everybody seems to have hooked up with all of the men on Southern Charm. It's like, oh yeah, I hooked up with, oh yeah, Taylor. Oh, I hooked up with that boy. I mean, were there even before the show? Was Austin trying to flirt with you over on King Street? Like, did you
Oh
have
no,
run-ins with all
never.
these guys?
Never, never, never. I feel like I wasn't I don't really go out a lot, so I feel like I would never run into them on King Street or like at the bars or anything like that. Now I feel like I spend a lot more time out in the bars and things like that because I'm hanging out with Sally a whole lot more, and that's her favorite thing to do. But um no, back then, yeah, I was at home. It was me and Charles, me and whatever I was watching on TV. Like, no. I never ever.
Well, I visited Charleston for the first time a couple months ago, and
Yeah.
it really made me realize I was like, oh, these men of Southern charm, they're never going to settle down because it's like King Street is just a bunch of like I didn't realize what a college town that whole area is,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you seem like somebody that has your head set on straight. Like you're
Yeah.
always like in the perfect outfit, like
Thank you.
everything, like you're making like the great cup of tea. You got the, like, it is so interesting. How do you not just crack up in every scene that you're in dealing with, especially the men of Southern Charm?
I do, you just don't see it. It doesn't make the cut. Um, yeah, it just doesn't make the cut. And like that's just who they are. And I've accepted them for who they are. And they will always be this version of themselves for the rest of their lives. And it's either you get with it or you get out. You know what I mean?
Do you go back and watch every episode?
No, 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 no. Sometimes I'll go back if I know there's some things shaking up. Like this week's episode, I did have to watch because this week's episode kind of dives into my personal relationship with Emmanuel. So I watched that to see how that was going to go.
What did you think about it? Watching
Uh,
it, was it hard for you?
You know what? I'm just going to say it. It's hard for me right now because tomorrow is his father's 1 year death anniversary, and that's when that episode lands. So that is making it hard for me. Other than that, I think I would be all right with it, because that's what happened. It was real life, and like, what can we do about it now? But the day that the episode is landing on is just not the best, not the best.
I was trying to point that out to the audience of how bizarre it must be for you guys to live these situations once and then have to relive it again and then have all of our comments on top of that. And, Manny is obviously a real relationship in your life, a
Yeah,
real, like, and things we don't know about that anniversary. And it
yeah,
just trudges up so many emotions for, I'm sure both of you.
yeah.
The Manny thing that he went to New York, I hear he is one of the most talented individuals out
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah.
But you did mention, and I hope this is okay to bring up what you said on the show is that I think you were a little sad that you potentially weren't part of those plans of New York at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, so it Manny and I have been through multiple states together as a couple. He's lived in Vegas, he's lived in Florida, he's done stints and he did a stint in Ireland there for a second. Like we've done it all. But with this situation, it was just so interesting that he was like so gung-ho, so excited, this, that, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I was like, okay, well, where do I come into play? Like, do I go to New York for the summer, come back home to Charleston? Like, how are we doing this? How long do you plan on being there? Like, what does that mean for our relationship? So I was kind of like left out of that. And then, in a sense, it made me feel bad because I didn't want to talk down on what he was getting. Manny was got his first Broadway like
Yeah.
moment, and like this is something that as his best friend first, and then as his girlfriend, like we've been waiting on this moment. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of like it was hard for me to juggle that because it was a sense of like I'm so excited for you, but I also feel left out because you're not mentioning us.
Yeah.
So yeah, 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 yeah.
Are you allowed to share where you guys are at right now? At all?
We're cordial. We're
Yeah.
cordial. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think that'll always be my best friend at the end of the day because that's how we started. But it's taking it one day at a time. And then obviously when you're going back and rewatching, it kind of again it
That
stirs it up and like you think you get past something and then boom, it's like right back in front of you. So
Well, I mean, to thank you for answering that
yeah.
honestly. Well, to get off of that, I mean, the other thing that must be really hard, or for one of your fellow castmates, is right now is Craig Conover having to watch this week's episode, especially him and Paige are playing house with this thing, and I think a lot of the Bravo fandom were kind of really, I think we're all, this is how childish I am. I'm like, I'm still sad about this. I'm like, I have my own thing.
That's
Like
not
I had,
child. Like you're watching people on a show that you love and you feel like you have this connection to them because you watch them every day, you know what they do, you appreciate them, you support them. So it almost feels like a distant family member, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not
And,
childish. It makes
and,
sense.
and like, you watch them and you're like, I like both of them. And you
Yeah.
realize we've all gone through breakups in our lives, but the audience, like, we forget that. And we're like, how could this possibly happen? How could this
Mhm.
ever happen? They're perfect
Yeah.
for each other. Was that shocking for you to hear last week?
I won't say it was shocking. I don't, it's just one of those things where like you never really expect it to happen, but then when it does, you're like, oh, okay, like it kind of makes sense because I think they're just in two different places in life
Yeah.
based on, just kind of like looking at it like everyone else on the from the outside. It's just like their careers are both taking off in separate ways. Paige just got this beautiful apartment in New York. Um, Craig just got this beautiful house in Mount Pleasant. Like they're just in two different spaces, even though they were great together. I think timing wise wasn't on their side.
And sometimes nobody has to be the villain in something.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's the villain in this. I just think time didn't work for, well, I just don't think time worked for anyone. Time wasn't on their side, And all
Yeah.
good things come back.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
I love both of them, but I was watching Craig's video yesterday and I was like, I just want to give the guy a hug. I just want to, I was like,
yeah,
ah. Um, unfortunately, you bear the burden of being a woman, which sometimes can be a burden because you have to keep your head on straight when men
yeah,
can't. And one of the reasons I think we all love Southern Charm is that these guys are so goofy.
yeah.
If any of these guys came to you, we can go through the list. If Shep came to you and said, Venita, what advice would you give me in my life going forward to have the best life I could have? Do you recommend I do ayahuasca again? What do you think I should do, Venita?
It's so funny that you mentioned Shep first, because Shep and I did have a moment like that this season, and I don't know if it's going to come to light or not, but like it was about um his relationship. And we were talking relationship. I was talking about Manny, he was talking about Sienna, and it was a really good moment. If these men were to come to me, I would give them some advice. Like I'd be okay with it.
No,
I
but
would
like, what advice would you say? Like, you got to settle down. You got to. And by the way, did you get along with Sienna?
Yeah, Sienna was nice.
Yeah, I love that it's the fun. Um, but I mean, so Shep, you would just say, keep on doing what you're
Yeah,
doing.
if I would just, yeah, you know what? I would tell Shep to keep on doing what he's doing because one thing I can appreciate about Shep is Shep never says that he's someone that he's not. Shep tells you exactly who he is when you first meet him. I like to do this. I like to do this. I like to hang out. I like to drink. I like to go on trips and travel the world. And that's exactly what you see from him. He never says anything of, I want to settle down. I want kids. I want a wife. He never says that. So
Yeah, that is true.
I'm not going to say, hey, this is what you should do. Just keep doing what you're doing. You are staying true to yourself. You got it.
Austin. Austin seems like stuck between sometimes like wanting to be Craig and wanting to be Shep. And obviously we're seeing like him being very sad about his relationship with Craig this season.
Yeah.
If she, hey, Benita, how do I be a better friend or how do I get Craig to see my point of view? What would you tell him?
Just a better line of communication, which I think now him and I have actually developed a really fun relationship after this season. So, and I think he's working on that now, and I can really see it. But I would definitely tell him to just try to have a better streamline of communication. Just like if something bothers you, say it right away. Don't hold it. Don't wait a couple days. Don't wait till you see him next. Just like get it out there immediately
Yeah.
instead of holding it. Yeah.
In terms of the women, I know you're close with Venita, right?
With myself, yeah.
Yeah. You,
Did you hear what you said? You said I'm close with Venita.
oh, sorry. I'm close with.
That sounds like
Sorry.
myself. Yes, I am.
Guys, I'm on a lot of painkillers still from my. I'm, you're close with Lev.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, no,
Vanita, do you know this? Hey, if Vanita asked Vanita advice, what would you tell Vanita? No,
you know,
Leva.
I
You're
would
very
tell
close with
Vicky I'm
Leva.
kidding. Yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah, super close at Leva.
And Sally, you said you're becoming like better friends with, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Sally and I have Sally and I cannot talk. Sally and I have kind of been conjoined at the hip since we wrapped filming. Like it was just one of those things where um she went out of her way to like make sure she was reaching out and talking to me and stuff like that once the cameras dropped and we hung out a lot. We've been hanging out a lot. I think I'll see her again. What's today? Wednesday. I'll see her tomorrow, actually.
That's perfect. So you're
Yeah.
saying if season 11 comes around, you would gladly do it again, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'd gladly do it again. And you know what? I feel like this go around doing it again, like everyone loves to say, Venita doesn't have a relationship with the group. I do, but I haven't developed a relationship strong enough to interject when they're speaking without fearing that I'm going to say the wrong thing or hurt their feelings. Now I know these people a little better. Like I know exactly what I can say to Sally that she'll hear me and that she's not going to be like, oh, that's so mean. Same thing with Austin, same thing with Madison, same thing with Levo. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, okay, like now I'm getting to a point like I'm not one of those people that's just going to run in a relationship and tell people exactly what they should be doing and that they're wrong. Like, no, I'm going to build the relationship first and make sure It's a
And
collab.
then tell them.
And then I'll
And
be like,
then
hey, listen, like this is what I think you should do as your friend, as someone that's close to you, as someone that sees you all the time. We hang out all the time. We talk all the time. Like I picked up Sally from her emergency appendix surgery for God's sake. Like next season's going to be great.
come on, that Andy and a camera for that appendix pickup. Come on.
Oh my God. Oh, it was
Uh,
crazy. It was crazy.
which by the way, I want to like I love Madison, but I want to put you up for I want you to be the narrator next season. You know how they do the
Oh
voiceover?
no.
No, no,
Madison
no, that's
is
not.
go
I
for
think
it.
she does great. I just think like
Yeah.
let's like pass it around a little bit. Where are you with Madison right now?
Her and I are great. Her and
Okay,
I are
good.
great. I hope to see her tomorrow as well. I think Leva has an event for
Southern Hospitality?
no, it's for she just got the cover of Charleston Home and Design. So having a party for that at Lamar. So I think I'll see Madison then
Dude, that
tomorrow.
Lamar's was pretty. I went in. That was like a really like classy, nice play. Like I was kind of blown away by like how many amazing restaurants and like I can't wait to go back to Charleston.
Yeah, no, they're doing it up. Leva and Lamar are doing it up, and they're opening another spot on I can't think of the name of it now. I can see it. It's going to
Yeah,
be like a frozen cocktail bar
yeah,
spot.
she was talking about
Yeah.
that. That's crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Um, so I want to get back to I think I can ask a couple questions about this. He is somebody that I think this guy is made for reality television, and that's not necessarily a compliment. But JT, where we call him Tiny Tim this season because of the cane. JT, you have a very strong friendship going into the season with JT.
Yeah.
And we obviously know JT has had some issues. I don't think he is going to be at the reunion, or I don't know how all of this pans out. But
Yeah.
what can you tell us about your relationship with JT? Because you seemed like you got such a kick out of him, and you were really putting your neck out there for him, and like really listening to him, being a friend. And it
Yeah.
almost kind of seemed even I don't want to say, but I was like, do you guys like each other, like each other? Like I mean, there I was just every scene, it just seemed like you were so open to
Yeah.
him, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it does make sense. So, like the relationship JT and I had, JT was one of those people where it's like, you know how they say it's hard for you to make new friends as an adult? It's
Yeah.
even harder to make new male friends as an adult as a woman. You know what I mean? Because people automatically assume, oh, well, they like each other, they this
Yep.
or that. But we didn't start out like that. You know what I mean? I just remember last year we were in Jamaica and like JT made sure he went out of his way to like speak to myself and Madison and like any other person in the crew to invite them to breakfast, do this, do that, like just to hang out like normal people do. And like I was just like, oh, this one might be kind of normal. You know what I mean? Like he might just be, normal. Like we hang out and like have good friendships. And like that's kind of how it started. And then I don't know. I just like felt like a connection to him as a friend. And I guess we lost that with what him posting and doing all his things on social.
Will we see the loss of that in future episodes this season?
Uh
I know you don't see the final edit, but like, is this a storyline eventually, or is this something that will confuse the audience?
both.
Yeah.
Both. It's both. You do get to see JT and I's friendship develop over the season. I guess you don't see the latter part of that, which is the things that happened off camera and his Instagram postings and things of that nature. Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
And I know we can't really get into that, but it was truly wild. I think all the Bravo fans know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Being on, a handful of seasons now, what has been the wildest moment for you? I guess even getting used to reality television, but what was the wildest moment that you've been a part of that you're like, I can't believe I'm here right now?
The wildest moment?
Like wildest, crazy. I mean, any kind of like what it was like this feels like I'm in a fever dream right now.
Okay, so I guess it'll be my first season. I was just a friends of with Leva, and Madison was having a party, and the party was supposed to be for Austin. And then Madison and Austin get into a fight, and Madison uninvites Austin to his own party. It was up anyway. And I was like, Is this real life? So funny. It was so funny. Like, I'll never forget that. Like I remember exactly what I had on. Madison planned this extravagant like party on the beach. We had to get on the boat to get there. Like it was beautiful. And I was just like, is this real? Like, how is this real life? I'm trying to think. Oh, another moment that was a fever dream was when Leva and Craig were going at it at the Christmas party.
Oh, when they would get out of here, get out. Yeah,
I didn't think that was real. I was
I
like,
didn't think that was real. I didn't think that was real either. I was like, how is this happening?
and I was like, is no one gonna say anything? Or like, now I know I can speak, but like, I was like, is no one gonna say anything? Like, what's happening here? Like, why? I didn't. I was like, this has to be fake. This, but it was real. It was real. And I feel like those two didn't speak for a very long time after that. Neither of them did.
That's crazy, but that's reality TV. You
That's
gotta
reality
you
TV.
gotta have conflict, and then you gotta have resolution. Hopefully, if
Yeah.
everything works well. A
Yeah.
lot of people. Are you open to dating again? Is that something on the horizon? Is that something that's happening now? I know you said earlier. Oh, she like. I mean, is that something in your purview for 2025?
I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm being honest. I'm taking it one day at a time. I was in basically a 2-year relationship that
Yeah.
ended. And then, I toyed with the idea of talking to someone else and that blew up in my face, aka Mr. JT.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I'm good. I'm taking it one day at a time. If someone comes along and they're like this perfect man, sure, but one day at a time.
Yeah, but you're not on the apps. I'm sure you have tons of like I'm sure you have tons of like weirdos in your DMs going like, "Hey, I really like you." Like, I mean, I'm sure you
I
deal with
don't
that a lot.
actually. I don't actually. Everyone says that to me. They're like, "Oh, I'm sure you have a lot of men in your DMs." I'm like, "I don't. I don't," which I guess I should be thankful for. But yeah, no, I don't. So
Check your. I mean, it might be in your junk mail folder that you might not check. Like you should, yeah,
that hidden folder or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly. It's probably your hidden folder is just a mess right now, Venita.
Yeah, yeah.
But as we start winding down here, would you take, because I know, you are like this influencer that you've always been even before the show started. What is your day-to-day existence life if the cameras weren't around?
The camera's not around. My day-to-day life is I wake up at 5.
In the
I
morning?
5 in the morning. I wake up at 5. I let myself slowly wake up. I'm probably out of the bed by 5:30. From 5:30 to like 6:30, 6:45. I like have tea, really like breakfast. I watch TV. I'm not one of those people that are gonna be like, oh, I read and meditate. No, babe, I turn the TV on and I watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, catch up on something I missed. Then I'll go work out, come home. I spend probably 6 hours out of every day filming some form of content, be it cooking, beauty, fashion. And I'll spend, the last 2 to 3 hours of my day. My days are pretty long. I'll spend the
Do you
last two.
do all your editing and all that as well?
I have a team now. So I have a team that helps me do all of the editing. So we kind of tag team it. Like they do half, I do the other half. But I
Is it
do all the
called Team
film.
Venita? What's it called?
Oh no, I can't give you my team. I'm not letting nobody see. But yeah, I do that, and then I handle emails at the end of the night, wind down, and cook dinner, and But yeah,
Okay.
my day starts pretty early,
You
5
said
a.m.
you watch TV. What are the TV shows that you like to watch? Do you mess around with reality television? Like, what do you like to watch?
I do. So I watch a lot of I love the Real Housewives of Potomac. I love Wendy. Personally, I also really love Candace. I was very sad to see that she
I
didn't
was
return,
sad to see Candace
but I
go.
understand. She
Dr.
went
Wendy
back.
Asefo, though, I got to meet her like last month.
Yeah.
She looks like a superhero.
No, she radiates like everything. Her skin is glowing. She's beautiful. Like everything about her is so perfect. I love the Real Housewives of Potomac. I like to watch a little Summer House, obviously. And other than that, I do a lot of binging. I like cartoons. I'm a big kid at heart, so I spend a lot of time watching like Disney Plus and things like that if I'm not watching reality TV.
Did you like Inside Out too?
I haven't seen Inside Out. I cannot get into it.
It
Please.
it's on Disney Plus.
I know I can't get into it. I keep trying. Everyone's like, "You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it," and I'm like, "Okay, I know I love it. I just can't get into it."
Okay, what music are you listening to? What are the things that's burning a hole in your eardrums?
Um, I can see the guy. I like saw his album. Dijon is his name. He's
Dijon.
Brit Dijon is fun artist that I love. Manny actually put me onto him, and he is just fab. The music is upbeat, it's playful. It can also be like sad and slow, and like he just does a good mix of everything. Love listening to jazz. What's the station on Spotify? It's like Jazz House 2024 or something like that, or House Jazz 2024. Phenomenal station. I play it every time I have people over, and it's like keeps the vibes going.
Yeah, I'm a masochist. I have like a sad playlist because I like to
Yeah, same, same.
I
Like I
like to
have
get emo.
Yeah, I have like music I know I listen to when I need to cry it out really good.
Yeah.
Can't play that all the time though, you know?
Yeah, no, you and sometimes sometimes you got to be in the you got to be in a good mood to cry. You're like I'm in such
Right,
a good mood. I want to cry right now.
right, right,
It's
right,
weird.
right.
It doesn't make a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
No, it
Um
does.
it's
Healthy kids. Healthy kids.
2025 since we're in like still like the first couple of weeks of the new year. Are you a person that sets goals for yourself for the new year? Do you take stock of 2024? Are you that type of person at all? And if so, what are your goals for 2025?
You know I'm not, and I think that's going to come to as a surprise to a lot of people because I'm so
Yeah.
tired about everything else in my life. No, I'm not. I something about that, something about setting too many goals is stressful because then if it doesn't go your way or it doesn't go how you had planned, then you're going to beat yourself up about it, you know? And I used to do that. That's when I stopped. So I always just try to set a word. And the word for the last 3 years has been intention. So just doing anything in intention, moving in intention. But yeah, no crazy goals, no checking back. Every every new day is a new year. That's how I look at it, you know?
I think intention's pearl. I mean, that's like the
Yeah,
best word ever to just replay as a mantra every
everything,
day, every
intention.
minute.
Yeah.
Best restaurant to eat at in Charleston.
Ooh, the ordinary
The Ordinary. Okay, The Ordinary. Perfect.
of the ordinary.
And we don't know when we're going to shoot the reunion, but I am very interested to see the reunion. Is there anything that you can tease for the remainder of the season for the audience out there watching right now?
Um, you know, I know it seems like we've gotten off to a slow start, but it will pick up, and I think it's going to be pretty rocky, and it's going to throw a lot of people by surprise what they see towards the end of the season.
Oh
Like
yeah,
you said a lot, but you said nothing.
yeah, yeah. It's like there's going to be moving images, and you're going to hear music sometimes behind them, and it's going to be
Yeah, yeah.
dramatic at times, and you might laugh as well. Two last things: when you were at that first party at the racetrack with the canes and all of that stuff, did you pick up the vibe that Miss Patricia was offended by JT? Was that like
Immediately,
palpable? Like so,
immediately.
everybody just felt it immediately.
Yeah, you could feel it. You can definitely feel it. And like the cane situation was with good intention.
Yeah, it was a joke, right?
It's a joke, yeah. And but it was good intention for JT to try to he did that so he could try to get a truce between Austin and Craig so they don't fight anymore. Like we're friends again. Like, hey, like take this as a joke, you know what I mean? But he definitely shouldn't have given one to Miss Pat at all.
Yeah,
But
like this guy can't like save himself for trying. And also,
no.
what a waste of strawberries. Those huge strawberry trees that Madison had out look
Oh,
beautiful.
I was eating them.
That
I
okay,
was eating
I was hoping somebody was eating the strawberries.
I was
Uh
putting them in a plate. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do this and I'm gonna be over here munching them. I was eating them, don't worry. They're
Venita
beautiful.
Aspen, I think you are a star. I hope that you are grace our screens for years to come, and I can't wait to see what you do outside of this. I have a feeling you got a book in you. I can't wait to see what else happens. And I just want to say this: I know you can't say anything, but JT, if you are listening or watching, if you hurt Venita in any way, I'm coming for you, man. I got to tell you, I think you are a great reality person, but like I will not stand it. This person is too good and kind-hearted to ever be hurt. So that is my threat to you. But Southern Charm airs every Thursday night. It is one of my favorite shows on television and has been for a very long time. And Venita, I hope I get to talk to you again one day.
Oh, you will for sure. Thank you so much
Thanks.
for having me.
Thanks for making this easy.